Today I am here with my sister here, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going over some more patient scenarios, right? But unlike the last time we did these with my two goober friends, we're going to be going over more what medical personnel were trained during World War II instead. You know, the stuff, the first aid that frontline soldiers were taught to keep them alive until a medic comes along. So after doing some research in all these books, like manuals from World War II, reproduction manuals, first aid books of the time, we have a pretty good idea of some of the treatments that were given for more severe and less severe wounds that could be faced in the front lines of World War II. So I have my aid bag here, and in here we have everything that we will need for this video, like ace bandage or compressed bandage. We have a tourniquet, splint, bandages, compressed gauze, and more bandages. So first thing we're going to go over is a scalp avulsion. So we will get into that information now. Okay, so as said before, we're going to be going over avulsions first. So in the case that we're going to do, we're going to go over a scalp avulsion, but avulsions could be all over the body depending on where the wound is. So an avulsion is a wound where it's kind of like an abrasion, but there's a flap that is hanging off that you could pivot, like close and open it, right? So for demonstration, we're going to use this orange because YouTube, we're not going to show any pictures of a actual avulsion, but hopefully with this orange you'll get the idea. And if you have a strong stomach, you could Google it, but here's an idea of what an avulsion is. A little flap here, this is your wound, you'd close it, and that's an avulsion. So here you go, here's your vitamin C intake for the day. And so for our demonstration here, our patient here, let's say they have an avulsion right here on their head here, and this could be from in case of like a war setting, shrapnel or just debris falling. Yeah, so a lot of reasons you get an avulsion, but those are just some of the reasons that we're going to use here. So in a medic's aid bag, you'd have your compressed gauze, and this would be very useful for this as just a pad for the avulsion. So you'd open this up a little bit, and politely ask the patient, well, first before you apply the dressing, you'd want to make sure that the wound is clean, and this is where you get into some gross practices back then. I mean, we're still trained, first responders and stuff. First trained, like an avulsion, you want to clean it out, but instead of, World War II medics with a nasty aluminum canteen, just washing it out with water. We have saline and sterile water now to do that, but before we do that, we'd wash out the wound with our canteen water, close the flap, take your compressed gauze, hold it there, politely ask your patient if they could hold the gauze there. And then we'll take our bandages out, and you move your hand. We'll try to do one around the cranium here, but it never seems to work because, it's your head's shaped weird. So when it comes to a situation like this, you can do this, but it's kind of like you're going to want to move your hand. You want to do this only once or twice.
Should I take my glasses off?
No, you cannot. You're stuck there, bro. Once or twice around the chin because you don't want to affect their airway. Make sure patient is still able to breathe. Are you still able to breathe?
Yes.
Perfect. So now that the patient is still able to breathe, we'll continue the wraps around. And this is looking god-awful.
I feel like Robert Pattinson in that one scene in Twilight where he has to look away so he's not laughing on screen.
But there we go. We just dressed a scalp avulsion here. And this is the same method that I was taught during my Mercy medical training. But it's just one of those things, and I find this very interesting with some of these like dressings and stuff, is it's just same way they did it back then, and it's same that we do nowadays. But anyway, we will get this off and move on to the next treatment. Okay, so that was the treatment of a avulsion, a scalp avulsion. And so, very simple, kind of a pain in the ass because, you know, a human head is a little bit oddly shaped and, you know, bandage likes to just... But we got that done. How's your scalp?
Oh, it's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, all healed up. All right, so the next thing we will cover is splinting. This will be a little bit more entertaining. But right here we have wire splints. If I get out of the box, hopefully. Wire splints, nothing too special. Okay, so this is your wire splint, and you were issued 2 of them because you're going to need 2. So, which arm do you want to be broken?
I guess my left one.
Okay, so we'll measure. So I'd say right about there. We'll fold it over.
I'm not getting paid for this.
You're getting $1.
You underpay your employees.
Yes. So you have it all right size measured out for the patient. You kind of want to give it a little bend so their arm could fit in it. Okay. Put your arm on it. Okay. And then we'll take the other one. Because you need 2 for this.
Everybody be thrilled with jealousy when they see you out with me. I don't blame them, goodness knows. Honeysuckle rose.
Okay, so this is when we're going to be using our compressed bandage, and this is not going to be the last time we use this. So hopefully you'd have another person. This would be more like not frontline medic stuff right here, unless you're a cool guy who got your own supplies from an aid station or wherever you'd get one of these wire splints. So
When you're passing by, flowers droop inside, and I know the reason why. They're all jealous, goodness knows. Honeysuckle rose.
it's not enough.
Don't buy sugar. You just have to.
And then we'll take our Fargo clips.
You're my sugar.
Move this down. Alright, could you do could you move your arm at all? Like this way? Alright, could you splint really quick? Just hold it there. And now we'll get a triangle bandage. Alright, so we got the same triangle bandages that we used for the last video. We used these to do the leg splints. But now we'll be using them for arm splints, and let's see if I can remember to do this correctly. Maybe. Here, I'm going to fold this down too really fast. Move your hand. Not good enough. All right. Put it under. Tie a knot back here. We're going to tighten that knot a little bit. Okay, so now we have the first step complete here. Now this one's just for extra stability of the wound. So with this arm, the non-injured arm. Yes, you are. So this one we'll just tie right here, keep it in place somewhat. And there we go. Splinted her forearm, so the correct way, the 1940s way, and then modern times. We'll see. Which finger am I touching?
I don't know, man.
Okay, which finger am I touching?
I don't know, man.
Could you wiggle your fingers? Other hand. Okay, check cap refills. You need to drink more water.
Water then.
Or poor circulation. It could be one of the two. But now we'll restore this. Okay, so the next topic is going to be for stopping the bleed. So there's other ways to stop the bleed. You know, last time we learned about using a triangle bandage. As a medical personnel, we would carry tourniquets. And so this is a civilian tourniquet of the era. The military ones, I just was too lazy to dig around my aid bags, so I just had this one that I have for display, but it's the same concept. So you put it around high and tight, and then you cinch it down. Bring it around so you guys can actually see. And that is how you'd apply a tourniquet of the time. What do you think, Ellen? You think it works?
Effective.
Yeah, exactly. Very effective. Just cinch it down. But I guess it worked. But another way, if you don't have a tourniquet, and it's not as bad as a bleed as like a amputation or something like that. If it was like a gash on the forearm here, we'll roll up your sleeve. Gash on the forearm right here from shrapnel or, you know, a gunshot wound or something. If it was a gunshot wound, we'd want to assess if it went straight through. For the sake of this, we only have one bandage, we're going to say it entered here, didn't make it through. So low caliber round, shot from a very far distance. So this is a compressed bandage. So this is used to attempt to stop the bleed. So what you do is you take gauze roll like this one, hold pressure, ask your patient if they're not in too much agony if they could hold pressure while you prep the compressed bandage. Another medic would also work well for this, or a uninjured soldier. So then what you will do is ask the patient remove pressure really fast, hold, and then I got it from here. Just hold your arm up. And then this is when you want to really get it really tight. You feel as tightly as possible, like so.
Feeling nerves in my arms sending electrical signals to my brain telling me to stop.
So it's working.
Yeah.
And then you clip it without breaking the clip.
Am I gonna get a blood clot?
No. Okay, it's not clipping. Because I broke the tin pin. God damn it. Hopefully not. double check. I feel no pulse, so it must have worked. And then cap refill, that's taken. Okay, so the patient here couldn't really stand it because there was a lot of pressure, which means that it worked very well. And like I said, I don't know if you guys were able to hear before the pressure washing blasted directly at the window next to us, but I felt no pulse in that arm after applying that, so
Oh, my wrist hurts.
if there was a bleed, I think that would have been pretty good. Pretty good.
I'm not getting paid for this.
No, you're not. Anyway, we'll move on to the last treatment here, and that will be for preventing post-burn edema of for this case, the hand. So we'll get into that now. We switched spots now because I reckon it'd be good to pester this arm for a minute and give this one a break. She's a little bit tired of using that arm, so
My
we're
joints hurt.
Yes.
I know what you did to me.
So we're gonna use this arm now, and so like I said, this treatment is for preventing post-burn edema. So when you get burnt, your body will send fluids to that area and it will swell up. And so what this is supposed to do is to keep it all compressed and make sure that that's not going to happen. You also want to individually wrap each finger because you don't want them to like stick together, because that would cause more damage trying to separate them all after the matter. So we'll start with the thumb area right here. So and then we'll move into the index finger. Now that we ran out of bandage, we'll just tuck it in right there, and then we'll get the other roll from the same box. We'll start right here, then we'll bring up through the middle finger, bring it back around this way, up this way, wrap, same thing with the ring finger. Then we'll bring it down, around, and back for the pinky finger. Back down. Good little wrap around the hand, like so. We'll tuck it in, bandage as well here, and then we'll need one more roll, so we'll get into here. And we'll just wrap up the forearm a little bit. Not as tight as the last one, but just tight enough. To prevent any swelling from post-burn edema. And then we'll tuck it into the bandage, and there you go. Wrapped up hand, kind of looks like a reptile's claw somewhat, but wrapped up hand, hopefully to keep post-burn edema from swelling up the tissue too badly. And yeah, so we will restore this. Another thing that some people might do is wrap over it with the compressed bandage, but this patient here has already gone through enough with the compressed bandage, so we'll just leave it at this. But yeah. Okay, so for the sake of time, and our patient has to go do something, so unfortunately it's going to be a little short video, shorter than usual, not a half an hour long, but yeah. But there'll be more videos like this, hopefully, with different people or same patient, just depending on it. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys learned, just some new things, especially if you're like a medic reenactor and you want to do something besides, drag patient cover, give them a sip of your canteen, and, well, magically healed. If you want to actually do some practices like this. But, yeah, so thanks for watching. Thank you for being my patient. You're not getting paid. And, yeah, have a good one.